You're obviously not an American. We love to not think. But I used to do a show called Politically Incorrect back in the 90s, and thank you. The 90s, we remember them. And so I was always asked, what is your definition of political correctness? And I had to come up with one. I said, it's the elevation of sensitivity over truth, which seems like what it still is, except it's worse than ever.
It's more like the elevation of moral posturing about sensitivity over truth. It's even worse.
Yeah. So where did it come from? How did we get to this place where we're so fragile? The safe space people.
Oh, I think that you can pretty much blame it on the universities. I think that they've pursued, especially in the humanities and in the social sciences as well, they've pursued a policy of a radical leftist policy with an overlay of postmodernism, which kind of a literary criticism approach that's produced all of this. As far as I can tell, I think you can lay a lot of it at the feet of faculties like the faculties of education. There was an article in the Chronicle of Higher Education this week that just devastated the faculties of education, taking them to task for low academic standards and for possession by ideology and for basically indoctrinating people in a cult-like manner and playing identity politics and group identity.
And no free speech.
In this heated debate, Jordan Peterson and Bill Maher take aim at the political correctness mindset, condemning its obsession with sensitivity as a direct assault on the truth. They argue that today's culture of avoiding difficult topics and giving way to emotions is undermining intellectual honesty and open communication. Peterson has no reservations. He charges that universities are becoming havens for this intellectual decline, which is exacerbated by the rise of postmodernist nonsense, especially in the social sciences and the arts. Both he and Maher warn that the present climate is limiting free speech and preventing the kind of frank discussion that society desperately needs to progress. The twist? Maher's crowd is packed with the very people Peterson is disparaging. Will sparks fly or will minds open? To witness the confrontation, watch the video.
The crowd likes it, but it's nasty, and they're considering suspending her. And here's what the president of the university said. He said this was beyond free speech. This was disrespectful. Have we lost the thread back to knowing what free speech is? Yes, it can be disrespectful. That is covered under free speech. President of Fresno, you idiot. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, and you see this too. I think where it's manifesting itself in a particularly appalling manner is in the increasing unwillingness of comedians, for example, to go on university campuses to be funny.
Therefore, in this contentious debate, Jordan Peterson and Bill Maher are not holding back when it comes to free speech. What's their major point? If your speech isn't offensive, it isn't really free. They vehemently resist this growing trend where everything that makes others uncomfortable is either criminalized or labeled hate speech. Things start to become intriguing at this point. It's said that you shouldn't go about harming people for fun. They argue, however, that the idea of free speech itself is potentially offensive. If we start to associate offensive with illegal or improper, we undercut the whole purpose of free expression, which is to push, stir, and, yes, sometimes, make people squirm. They also reveal a serious miscommunication, people who mistakenly believe they are immune to criticism or disagreement because of the First Amendment. Spoilers ahead, it doesn't. It protects you from government censorship, but not from online harassment or criticism. Very different. The societal shift and how postmodern ideals, especially in higher education, are prioritizing emotional comfort over challenging facts are then covered. They argue that we have started to see ideas as dangerous just because they make others feel bad. They claim that self-censorship and intellectual stagnation are the primary results of this. In the end, if we keep trying to sanitize every conversation to ensure that nobody is offended, we will lose the very element that makes democratic speech possible: Free speech is necessary, even if it's not always enjoyable, especially when it makes us uncomfortable.
There's also this idea that's promoted by the people who are protecting those who are easily offended, that the way to make people secure is to protect them from things that they don't want to encounter. And there isn't a clinician, like I'm a trained clinical psychologist, and there isn't a clinician in the country who's worth his or her salt that would ever make that claim. Because you don't make people, first of all, it's hard to make people safe because life is seriously not safe.
Yes.
And the way that you make people resilient is by exposing them to things that they're afraid of and that make them uncomfortable voluntarily, but you use exposure.
Right.
And and so, like, if you over coddle people, if you protect them from everything that's sharp, you make them dull and stupid and narcissistic, and it's a really bad idea.
So you do know America.
These so-called safe zones, where people are protected from uncomfortable or thought-provoking ideas, may do more harm than good, according to Peterson. He contends that being pushed, challenged, and even uncomfortable leads to true intellectual and personal growth. When we constantly defend ourselves against everything that may upset us, we are actually making ourselves weaker rather than stronger. Furthermore, he claims that this makes people egotistical, dull, and stupid. Oh no. But here's the more dire warning. This culture of over-coddling stunts more than just individuals, it weakens society as a whole. If we cannot face unpleasant facts or wrestle with difficult ideas, how are we to deal with problems in the real world? Peterson makes a clear point. Stop trying to hide from discomfort. Accept it. That is where resilience is fostered.
One thing I love, your book is fantastic, and one of the rules that I really love is you say, don't let your kids do anything that would make you not like them. That's what I've been thinking for years. When I call them the fuck you mom generation. When I see kids, never in life, because I never go near a child, but like on TV and movies, I see kids like saying "fuck you, mom." And I'm like, if somebody who wasn't your child did that, you'd be immensely offended. Whereas the parents just take it. What's up with that?
Well, people don't like to admit that they can dislike their children or children in general, and right. Right.
No, I know what you mean.
But they can.
No, they totally can.
One of the things you see very commonly as a clinical psychologist is family members who hate each other and who it's like they have their hands around each other's necks for 20 years and are squeezing very slowly, trying to strangle each other. And you see parents who clearly detest their children and have ever since they were born. And part of that, I know it's a terrible way of looking at things, but it's true.
It's so true.
And one of the things,
No, parents confide that in me because I don't have kids.
Yeah, well,
He makes one main point clear: try to make your kids likable, not overindulged or spoiled. Likable. Why? Because kids who behave uncontrollably as they grow older will eventually face rejection from their peers, teachers, and the wider community. Moreover, such social reactions might lead to serious long-term problems. Peterson claims that a prevalent trend in modern parenting is the fear of being too strict or of somehow limiting a child's uniqueness. However, he argues that children do not benefit from the avoidance of discipline. It is actually hurting them. They need to acquire self-control, respect, and social behavior. Youngsters lack the foundational knowledge needed to be prepared for life's challenges. It is not a matter of control. It's about giving them the tools they need to thrive, connect with others, and grow into capable, confident individuals. To put it another way, being a parent means accepting responsibility, setting limits, and sometimes saying no for the sake of your child. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.